Hello everyone, I'm Hone, and welcome to the 5th Aether Revolt Limited review video. So far this week I've looked at the best commons and uncommons in every color that isn't green, and today we're taking a look at green. Green was considered by most to be the most powerful color in Kaladesh because of the ability it gave you to splash and the power of its commons and uncommons. Let's see if green can stay the top dog in Aether Revolt. I think the third best green common is Prey Upon. It's certainly not a high pick, but once you run green and have enough creatures with decent power, Prey Upon gets to be a card you want in most green decks, and the green creatures on average in this set, in Kaladesh and in this set, seem to have some pretty high power, so Prey Upon is even better in this set than it has been in more recent sets. Always remember that it can be very dangerous to play Prey Upon when your opponent has open mana, as they may completely blow you out in many different ways, but it is a solid removal spell for green decks nonetheless. With mana, you get a 1/3, who can effectively block for a while if necessary, and on top of that, this elf also helps you ramp. If you want to play a turn 3 4-drop like Pima Outrider, this card can do it for you, and it can do it at common, unlike Servant of the Conduit in Kaladesh. My pick for the best green common is Aether Storm Leopard, and of course this is another card I think I can see myself first picking especially if there's no premium removal or a bomb rare in my pack. It reminds me a lot of Brazen Wolves from Shadows over Innistrad in that it is a 3-mana 2/3 who can swing as a 4/3, but the Leopard also brings Trample to the table. Now, you do need to have consistent ways to continue to make energy to keep swinging so hard, but the Leopard only asks for 1 energy, and it's a lower rate than most creatures who get bigger when they attack, like the Thriving creatures in Riparian Tiger. This is one of the better common creatures in the whole set, I think, so I don't feel too bad about first picking it from time to time. I think there's going to be a lot of games where an Aether Storm keeps swinging for 4 and your opponent can't do anything about it, and you just win. So let's move to the uncommon that I think are the best. I think all 3 of these are cards that I will find myself first picking at one point or another during Aether Revolt drafts, and that's pretty impressive for a color. So it looks like green is in pretty good shape again. At number 3, I have Maulfist Revolutionary. One of the things that made green so good in Kaladesh was just having the best curve out in the format, especially from 3 to 5, where just with commons, you could go Thriving Rhino, Pima Outrider, Riparian Tiger. If your opponent can't answer that or do similar things on their side of the board, they just lose. And green continues to have some seemingly overpowered creatures in Aether Revolt, though at least in this case, most of them, other than that Leopard, are at uncommon. Maulfist Revolutionary is one of these creatures. It's a 3-mana 3/3 with Trample, and that's a card that you always would make the cut anyway, even without any other text. But on top of that, they added the fact that the Revolutionary gets to add additional counters to any players or permanents that have counters. This means that she can give you energy counters, that she can give creatures with +1/+1 counters, even more of them, and a few other things. There's different kinds of counters around. Those are just the big ones. And there are plenty of both energy and +1/+1 counters in green, and she does it twice. She does it when she enters the battlefield and when she dies, and that is pretty insane. Like I said, 3-mana 3/3 with Trample, playable. Not more than playable, but a good card. 3-mana 3/3 that just did to enter the battlefield, proliferate basically. Pretty close to a first pick. Does it twice. Definitely a first pick. So it's a very strong card that I would not feel bad about first picking. But believe it or not, there are 2 uncommons that I like even more than her. At number 2, I have Monstrous Onslaught. One of green's weaknesses used to be a lack of removal, but lately Wizards has found a nice design space for green to have removal. Cards like Monstrous Onslaught, which do damage equal to a creature's power. The Onslaught does X damage, divided as you choose, among any number of creatures equal to the highest power of a creature you control. That's kind of insane, especially in green, and we've already mentioned that green has some high power creatures. It seems like this can be a Pyrotechnics a decent percentage of the time, meaning it does at least 4 divided as you choose, and if you're killing 2 creatures with it, you feel pretty great. And there's a decent chance you have 5 or 6 power out there too. Like Prey Upon, you do have to be careful about your opponent having open mana, but this card just has so much blowout potential that I am perfectly happy first picking it. But there's still an uncommon I think is even better, and that is Ridge Scale Tusker. A 5-mana 5/5 is already a great rate. I would probably play it anyway, but he doesn't stop there. He puts +1/+1 counters on your whole team. I love this card because it plays well with both of green's major themes. +1/+1 counters and going wide. Just imagine a game where you play Ridge Scale Tusker, pump 2 or 3 other creatures, and attack with your Maulfist Revolutionary offering a trade. That is a brutal sequence for your opponent, one that isn't going to be easy to come back from as your board just gets huge. Ridge Scale Tusker should be first picked and thought of similarly to Arbor Backstomper in Kaladesh, and I think it's one of the best uncommons in the entire set. And so basically green's still looking to be the strongest color, I think. It is worth noting that green does not splash nearly as easily in this set. That's something I'll talk about more in the archetype video. There's not really a good common or uncommon green card that helps you splash, while there were 2 of those in Kaladesh. So That does it for today's limited review video. Tomorrow I will continue by discussing the best common and uncommon artifacts. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click the like button. If you want to talk about any cards I haven't mentioned yet, post about them in the comments below and I'll do my best to get back to you. If you want to make sure you catch the rest of this limited review, future limited reviews, and all the rest of my content, don't forget to subscribe. Additionally, my content is supported in part by 5colorcombo.com. They have a store on their website where you can use my discount code NITSAHONE5 to get a 5% discount, so go ahead and check it out. Thanks for watching.